What's up, YouTube? We got some huge Kevin Durant news. We got a report that Kevin Durant prefers to be traded to the Miami Heat, the Houston Rockets, or the San Antonio Spurs. That's his top three right there. I have a few thoughts on these trade destinations, but at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't really matter what KD wants. He's not a free agent. He has no leverage here, and the Phoenix Suns are going to trade him to whatever team they can get the best deal on. But if I had to rank them in order from these three teams, it would go the San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, and then the Miami Heat. In my opinion, the Miami Heat don't make sense at all. But I'm going to be breaking down every single trade destination. I'll go over the Spurs, Rockets, and the Miami Heat, and I got like three other teams in mind that I would like to add on this because it's possible. Like just because you have a top three, it doesn't mean you're going to be sent to one of these teams. So I'm going to add three other teams that I think he is likely. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to. So we got the San Antonio Spurs first because I believe they are the best trade destination out of these three teams. I think the trade package would likely include Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, the 14th overall pick in this year's draft, and two other first-round picks. Now, that is a huge haul for Kevin Durant, but at the end of the day, Kevin Durant's still like a top 10, 15 player in this league. I know he's getting up there in age. He will be 37 by the time next season starts. But Devin Vassell, that's a huge piece you're losing. Pretty young player, good player. I think he averaged like 17, 18 points this past season or the year before that. So Devin Vassell, I really like his game, but you're getting Kevin Durant at the end of the day. So not the biggest loss, but Devin Vassell is definitely a great player. Harrison Barnes, huge. He was a starting small forward. He had a great year. Hit some clutch shots, especially that game against Golden State towards the end of the year. That was a huge shot. Great game, by the way. But the 14th overall pick, but you have the second overall pick in this year's draft. So losing the 14th overall pick isn't that huge of a loss. But this draft is super loaded. So 14th overall pick, I would say, is more valuable than most years in this year's draft. And then two other first-round picks. But I mean, for Kevin Durant, man, you get to play with De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, who was the Rookie of the Year last year, and then Victor Wembanyama. We all know how good Victor Wembanyama is. And like I said, they have the second pick in the draft. I think it's going to be Dylan Harper. Maybe you go in Ace Bailey, but I'm like 90% sure it's going to be Dylan Harper. I think Dylan Harper is the clear-cut second best player in this draft, in this upcoming draft. But I mean, I think out of these three teams, the Spurs give him the best chance to win a title out of these teams. I give them the slight edge over the Houston Rockets just because Victor Wembanyama. I think Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion, could be a top 5 player as soon as next season. I think he's that good. And then Castle, like I said, was the Rookie of the Year. De'Aaron Fox, an all-star level player. And, I mean, good luck guarding this team. De'Aaron Fox, he's going to give you 25 a night. Dylan Harper, who knows what he's going to come in and do year one. And then Victor Wembanyama, I think he can be an MVP candidate. I think he's probably the favorite to win DPOY as well next season. And then Stephon Castle, man, I think he has all-star potential. Has to get, fix that shooting. His three-point shooting isn't the greatest right now, but, I mean, as a slasher, as a defender, this guy he's very, very good at basketball. But that's pretty much it for the Spurs. I think, this is the clear-cut best destination for him as far as these three teams go. But next up, we got the Houston Rockets. Dylan Brooks. In my opinion, the deal would be Dylan Brooks, Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, Jock Landale, and the 10th overall pick. Like I said, 10th overall pick is going to be more valuable this year than most years because this draft is loaded. But to me, I mean, you're losing Dylan Brooks, who is a huge, rotational piece. He's their starting two guard, probably their best perimeter defender after Amen Thompson. And then Reed Shepard didn't really play much in year one, but I like his potential. And Cam Whitmore, I think Cam Whitmore needs to get into a new situation. He's not going to get, the minutes he needs on this Houston Rockets team. So, I mean, as far as the Rockets go, you're not really losing much because he's not really in your rotation like that. But I think for the Phoenix Suns, this could be a huge hit for Cam Whitmore if he's getting consistent minutes. Jock Landale, and then the 10th overall pick, like I said, pretty valuable this year. But, I mean, the Houston Rockets are a great young team. They just, finished with a 2 seed last season, or this season technically because it's still going on. We got the NBA Finals going on. But at the end of the day, this is a team coached by Ime Udoka, who has that championship level experience. He did go to the NBA Finals in 2022 with the Boston Celtics. But I mean, as far as KD goes, you get to play with Alperen Sengun, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and I mean, this team has an amazing young core. They also got vets like Fred VanVleet, and they just re-signed Steven Adams today. I think Rockets give KD a legitimate chance at a title. Not as good as the Spurs do, but this is definitely a great team. You got Amen Thompson, who I think will be a DPOY candidate next season. Could be an all-star. Sengun already an all-star. Jalen Green just has to get the consistency, but I think he could be an all-star maybe. And then Jabari Smith Jr., I really love Jabari Smith Jr. I mean, I think he's the perfect three, the perfect four in today's game. I mean, can defend, can shoot the three, can, score on backdoor cuts. I mean, this is just a complete player and complete role player, man. I really like Jabari Smith Jr.'s game. I know he was the third overall pick, and many people view him as a bust because he's not going to ever be a star, in my opinion. Maybe he could be one day, but not on the Houston Rockets team with how loaded they are. But I really like him as a role player, man. I think he does a lot of things that I would like from a four in today's NBA. But next up, we got the Miami Heat. If you guys follow me on TikTok or follow me on Twitter, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of this Miami Heat move. I don't think it makes that much sense. I mean, this isn't a championship level roster. Their best players are Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero was an all-star last season, or this season. I keep saying last season. And then Bam Adebayo has been an all-star like 3 or 4 times now in his career. He wasn't this past season. But, I mean, these guys are good players, but in my opinion, Kevin Durant, he's 37 years old. He does not need to go into a situation where he's going to be the guy, where he's going to be the best player on this team, because I think he is definitely better than Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, although they're great players. But I just think KD needs to go to a team where they already have an established superstar. And I'm going to go over some teams later on in the video, after I go over this Miami Heat move. But, I mean, I think people desperately just want a star in Miami, which I get. It's a big market. Miami's a great city, and they always seem to get these star players, but it just doesn't make any sense for it to be the 37-year-old Kevin Durant. I could understand like maybe a Giannis, maybe even like a Joel Embiid, but Kevin Durant at this point in his career, it just doesn't make sense. I could see if they had a star, like maybe if you go trade Tyler Hero or Bam for Giannis and then you get KD, that makes a lot more sense to me. So I don't think there's as much of an incentive for Kevin Durant to go to the Miami Heat over the Houston Rockets or the San Antonio Spurs. But the pros, there's little pros to me for this move. But I think the pros are you're going to be coached by Spoelstra, who's one of the greatest coaches of all time, actually. And he'd be in the East. The Eastern Conference is wide open with the Boston Celtics being injured next year, Jason Tatum not playing. It's really, the Knicks, the Pacers, maybe Philly if they're healthy, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then it's pretty much wide open. Like, I think any team next year could really, take over in the East and, come out East. But the Miami Heat, man, I just don't think. I think they would need, like, another star-level player like a Giannis. I just don't like KD at this point in his career going to a team where he's going to be the best player on the team. I wouldn't like that. I know the Rockets, you could make that argument as well. I just thought about that right now. Like, maybe Sengun's not better than Kevin Durant, but it's the players they have around him. I mean, Sengun, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., like, that team is just super loaded. So I don't think, the depth on the roster for the Rockets is much better than the Miami Heat. I don't even really have to go through that. Like, I think all of you guys understand that. But I want to talk about 3 other teams that I want to add into the mix. First up, I got the Minnesota Timberwolves, I got the Denver Nuggets, and I got the New York Knicks. Like I said, I think KD needs to go play with a team that already has a guy, a superstar, similar to how LeBron has Luka now. LeBron, obviously 40 years old, he needed that. He couldn't be the best player on a championship team anymore. Kevin Durant needs to go find his Luka, and I think that's the perfect way to put it. And that's why I got the Timberwolves. Getting to play with Anthony Edwards, we obviously know he's a top 10 player in this league, could be top 5 as soon as next year. But my proposed trade is Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, Mike Conley, and a first-round pick. The Wolves are a team that made the Western Conference Finals the last 2 seasons, and then you get a starting lineup. I mean, I don't know who's going to be their point guard because they are trading Mike Conley. Maybe it's a young Rob Dillingham, but I would like to see the Minnesota Timberwolves maybe go after like Alonzo Ball. Like, I think that would be perfect. But hypothetically, say they got Lonzo Ball at the 1, they got Anthony Edwards at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3, Jaden McDaniels at the 4, and Rudy Gobert. I know I can't. It's not fair for me to just add Lonzo Ball in there, but even if you want to, I mean, you could run like Rob Dillingham, Anthony Edwards, This team also has Naz Reid, who was a sixth man of the year, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert. Like, that's a very solid team. And I know, Randall was great in not in the finals. Randall was great in the playoffs this season, but you trust KD more. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Kevin Durant is definitely a better player than Julius Randle. Three-level scorer, a true three-level scorer, one of the greatest we've seen in the entire NBA history. So I think KD to the Wolves. I think personally, after the Spurs, I would say the Wolves are the second best fit for Kevin Durant, in my opinion. And then we got the Denver Nuggets, man. My proposed trade offer is Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Naji, Durant Holmes, and 2 first-round picks. Now, me personally, I think this would be the funnest for Kevin Durant to go play in Denver. Is it the best move? Maybe not. But, I mean, if you pair Kevin Durant up with Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world, man, I think this would be such an amazing and beautiful watch. Kevin Durant is a huge upgrade over Michael Porter Jr., and you get a starting lineup in Denver of Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Kevin Durant, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic, man. I think, oh, man, I would love to see that. I really would. And my third team, my last team, I got the New York Knicks. My proposed trade offer is Karl Anthony Towns. You get to pair up Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker, who are, I've heard they're like really good friends. Pacome Dadier, I think I said that right. First or second year player for the Knicks. And then a second round pick. And then that gives the New York Knicks a starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Kevin Durant, and Mitchell Robinson. And then you got Josh Hart on the bench as a sixth man. I think that's probably, honestly, the best starting lineup with the Celtics being injured and their roster going to be probably depleted this offseason. The New York Knicks probably have the best starting five next season if you add that. And, I mean, wow. The thing with the Knicks, though, is they don't have a coach right now. They fired Tom Thibodeau. I don't know who's going to be their next head coach. I thought it was going to be Mike Malone, and then you're seeing all these reports on them trying to steal other teams' coaches like Ime Udoka. I think I saw Billy Donovan and Quinn Snyder, all these coaches that they're just trying to take away from these teams. Even Chris Finch. But I mean, I'm not a huge Knicks fan. I'm a Celtics fan. I don't really like the Knicks, and Kevin Durant is probably my favorite non-Celtics player of all time. So I wouldn't like to see my favorite player on a team that I don't like, but I have to give the New York Knicks their respect. I mean, they're fresh off an ECF appearance, and the East is wide open, like I already mentioned earlier in the video. And I think it makes a lot more sense for him to go to the New York Knicks than the Miami Heat. Yeah, man, I just think if he's going to go to an East team, it should not be the Miami Heat. It should be the New York Knicks. Maybe even you add a Detroit Pistons in there. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much my thoughts on this whole Kevin Durant trade stuff. I expect, Kevin Durant to get traded any moment now. I think it could be before the NBA Finals is even over with and before the NBA draft even starts. I think he can get traded any moment now, and that's what Shams is reporting. He said he expects him to get traded within the next week. So we can be getting that news any minute now. So let me know where you guys think Kevin Durant should go, where you would like to see him be traded, and where do you think is the best fit for Kevin Durant. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.